and the neurologist said, yes, we think you have ALS. Well, I found out that I had shoulder replacement surgery, and through that process I had an EMG, and they noticed there was something different. And so then I had another EMG that confirmed likely that I had ALS, and then I saw a neurologist, and the neurologist said, yes, we think you have ALS.
Well, so this all started December, January he knew he was going to do shoulder replacement. So it was in preparation for the shoulder replacement, the testing. But he had also noticed that he had some tingling and some numbness.
Strength and pinching.
Yeah, like he noticed that his left hand wasn't as strong. And this was, again, December, January, February. I noticed that he was kind of doing, like making this hand, squeezing this hand. And so his left arm, he's left-handed, and it was the right shoulder that was getting replaced. So anyway, he did start to notice some weakness, but didn't know what that was. And then you had a golf trip in February and noticed.
Struggled with my grip on my golf clubs. Yep.
Yeah. And unbeknownst to me, he had also noticed like clipping his nails. He couldn't do the clippers because, again, he's left-handed. So there were little things that he started noticing, but the thing is, if it weren't for the shoulder replacement surgery and the prep, we wouldn't have known this early. So on April 6th, the doctor said, yes, I agree with the findings. I think that you have ALS. And then it was like, so I guess you've heard of ALS. I'm sure you know the prognosis. There's no cure. There's 2 medications that are FDA approved. They have about a 10% efficacy rate that might extend your life, 3 to 6 months if the medications work with you. And I'm sure, the life expectancy once you're diagnosed is anywhere from 2 to 5 years.
That was the end of it. And at that point, Adrian broke down. So I told my 3 brothers that I had ALS. And of course, the call went from a business call to oh my God, like this, when you tell somebody you have ALS, it blows their mind. And my brother Michael knew Kent Honey. And he said, hey, Tom, I have a friend who's going through the same thing. He's been going through it for, 6-8 months. And he's having great success. And he said he literally texted me while we're on the phone about BTT.
So the day that he had a call with his brothers and we found out about Kent and Jen, I started looking because Mike sent us the videos and information on BTT. So immediately I'm like, okay, I'm on the website. I'm going for a consultation. I'm signing up to get us on. So literally that same day I was registered as for a consultation. And I felt good that it was non-invasive. I felt like that was a positive. It's not like they were surgically planting something into your brain, right? So that part made me feel a little bit better, but I was absolutely scared.
Well, my brain is I'm very black or white. Adrian would tell you that. And I was like, okay, well, we can go this direction and eventually I die. Or we can go this direction and maybe I get cured. So it was like, okay, there's a fork in the road. I'm taking this fork. I was pretty much done. I was committed.
Yeah, he had made his decision. So
for me, I'm a civil engineer, so my engineering mind went to the physics side of this, and I read and I watched videos and I used Claude and I understood, from the physics and the biochemistry of what a heat shock protein does to a folded DNA. And I was like, okay, this makes complete sense. This is not some voodoo science. This is real. This could totally work. And I had talked to Kent and I was texting with Kent regularly. And I was like, okay, this is my way out. This is it. I'm going to do this. And I don't care how much it costs. And I will tell you that for the last month and a half, I've been doing, where I walk and I run together. And I just have noticed that my breathing is not a problem. I can pretty much, and I've hiked at 8,000 feet in the mountains with very little oxygen and I've been fine. Been okay. So the breathing's really good. And my general physical ability is, besides a little weakness in my arm, which hasn't gotten worse, but it hasn't gotten better. I live a pretty normal life, which is great. And I'm not deteriorating at all. I'm definitely, in many ways, I'm getting better. already.
So before we came, I could feel I sleep on, the side of the bed that I sleep on, I could feel that he had some tremors in his leg, right? And I didn't know what it was, but those have completely stopped. Like, they're gone. There hasn't been one. And then even when, like, we would hug before treatment, I could feel some tremors in his arms after, once we got the diagnosis. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Now I know what this is. But yeah, they're gone.
And how fast did you notice?
Almost immediately. I'm literally looking at the numbers on testing of the strength in my arms and my pinch tests and all that stuff, and it's getting better. I can see the data and I can feel it in my body, so I know it's getting better. Over the time I've been here, people are very supportive, very caring, very kind. They do their job with joy. I think they're very proud of what they're doing. I think the nurses, the doctors, everyone takes pride in what they're doing and is kind and
so sweet. Everyone's sweet.
Yeah. That's one of the biggest part of the experience. And then
everyone has just been so sweet, like giving us hugs when we come in. It's like family. They treat us like family. It's just sweet and caring and warm, loving.